Of live side split stretching starting right now. And we do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, because if you're here every day, if I'm here every day, eventually I think we're going to get to know each other a little bit better. With that, hopefully the good vibes, the good energy from the community, being supportive, being around other people who are trying to do things together, suffering on the floor, etc., will help make it a little bit more fun to keep coming back. And with that, I hope we make a whole bunch of progress in our side split goals. That's it. That's the whole thing. If that sounds fun, if you want to do some hip mobility, some side split stuff, follow, subscribe, get notified, keep on coming back. We are here every single day. All right, with that spiel, I think we've given enough time for people to join in. So let's get started. Ooh, rubber band. Anything else on the floor? Nope. Okay. We're going to start with our 3 warm-up exercises, and the first one is called the hip car. Looks like this. We're going to lift that knee as high as we can up into the air. Then we're going to rotate that hip out. Really, it's just the leg going out that way. Try your best to hit 90 degrees directly that way. Rotate the leg so that your ankle is as high as possible. Try to get to horizontal. You might be able to go even further. Lift that ankle up. Ooh. And then finally, bring the leg back down. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel the hip stretch in the front. Make sure this knee is behind the standing knee. It doesn't have to be super far behind, but I want you to try to bring it back. Oh, the whole time, try to keep your upper body nice and straight. It's definitely going to lean a little bit when you're doing things, but I want you to imagine trying to keep it straight, and that'll help make all these muscles stronger. It'll make every exercise a little bit harder, but those are all good things. Those are good for you. All right, let's do 10 of these on the left side, 10 on the right side, and then we'll go in reverse. High knee, open, ankle, down and back. High knee, open, ankle, down and back. Yeah, it's not just me going crazy. Yesterday, I was at a park because the building was doing like fire alarm testing, exactly when we do it live, and I was struggling so hard to maintain balance, and I haven't shifted my standing leg at all this whole entire time. I think this is 7, by the way. 8, 9, 10. I thought maybe I was like super tired or something. Like, what's going on? I can't balance for the life of me. Took off my shoes, but it seems like I think it's the rubber floor. I think the rubber floor made it a little bit less stable than the regular floor. All right, high knees, hip cars on the other side. Let's go. High knee, open up directly to the side. Rotate that leg so the ankle is high. Try to get it to horizontal, but you might notice you can get it even further. Try to keep the knee high while you do it. And then bring the leg down and back. In the down and back position, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Try to keep your upper body straight-ish. And, oh, man, that's 1. Let's go. 10 more. High knee, open, ankle, down and back. There's no audio on TikTok? Again? It says the earbud is connected. I think there. Okay, cool. Audio is good. I thought for a second that audio was bad again, and I had mini trauma. Yesterday, like 45 minutes into that's not true. Like 30 minutes into the live, Thunder was like, "Oh, the audio is really not quite very good." And I was like, "What? People are talking about hearing the birds and things. The audio's bad." Didn't even turn on Bluetooth to connect the earbud, so I was just standing this far away from the microphone, and that was my bad. Thank you, everybody, for dealing with those technical difficulties yesterday. Okay, I have absolutely no idea how many of these hip cars on the right side we have done, but I hope you have been focused and staying on task. Man, I sound like a 3rd grade teacher or something. 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Shake it out. We're gonna do 10 more hip cars going backwards on each leg. These are the exact same movements, but we go in reverse order, so sometimes it can be a little bit confusing if you're just learning the flow. So let's talk about it. Bring the leg back, hamstrings, glutes, hip flexors. Lift directly to the side. Pretend you're doing something really cool, like you're a martial artist, kicking somebody flying through the air, lift that knee and the ankle up as high as you can. You can always add a little bit more if you really want to. Try to lift that ankle higher. Whew. Then keep that knee high, rotate the ankle down, and finally bring the knee to the front. That is one rep. Let's go 10 of these. Back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee. If you're struggling a little bit with balance, I recommend using something really tall that you can sort of lean against to help you stay stable. If it's really low, you have to bend over, then you're going to be kind of off balance trying to do balancing, and it's going to make the movements a little bit more difficult. I think that's 8. 2 more, 9, 10. Whew. Take a couple breaths real quick, and let's get into the final hip car. Back, side, ankle, knee. Ooh, my hip didn't do a crazy pop on that first rep today. It made some sounds, but it wasn't painful. I think this is 3, maybe it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's 10. I'm gonna do one more for good measure. 10. Oh, okay. I'm gonna come over, check the chat. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I am getting a message saying that maybe my earbud is not actually connected to TikTok, and that you heard me really well because I got really close to the phone. So give me 1 second. The video is gonna pause for a second. You don't have to go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go swipe down on my screen to check Bluetooth one more time. Give me a sec. And they had a battery? All right. Is this significantly better? Because my earbud just made a bunch of noises. One of them going, ba-bum. All right, I'm gonna move away from the device. Hopefully the volume stays, and we will continue. Dan on YouTube says, only 3 people, I feel bad. Only 1 like, now 2. Thank you, Aden, for letting me know. I appreciate that you think the show is so good that it deserves a lot more attention. Yes, on YouTube, you guys have this blue earbud, and TikTok, the other phone that I have, is this white earbud. And this is the easiest way to have maybe not the greatest quality sound, but I'm just breathing and sounding awful most of the time anyway. So I figure it's convenience that's more important. Because if I had a microphone over here, if I turn my head, the sound changes. But in earbud format, at least it stays kind of consistent. Anyways, connecting Bluetooth devices sometimes doesn't go super smoothly, and I have messed up the TikTok one twice, 2 days in a row. This is like super embarrassing. I didn't even learn from the first day's mistake. Okay, whatever. We're done. Moving on. Staying on good vibes. Elephant walk is next up. That is our second warm-up exercise. Come on down. We are getting into this L shape. If you're a little bit higher up, it's totally fine. It's part of the process. All we care about is that you're feeling a little bit of these hamstrings, and then as you bring your belly button, this thing right here, your belly button, down, your hamstrings are gonna get tighter and tighter and tighter. Ah! Whew. All right, that is our hamstrings. From here, once you've hung out here for a couple of seconds, you don't have to push super hard. Just to make sure you're feeling them. You're trying to bring the belly button down. I want you to start bending 1 knee at a time. Twisting, rotating, just a little bit of movement. It doesn't have to be super crazy. Just slowly bend 1 knee, straighten that knee, bend the other, slowly bend 1 knee, straighten the other. Especially if you have done nothing like this all day. This will feel like a combination of really good and really bad all at the same time. Good, because you might enjoy stretching, going, ooh, okay, nice. Bad, because all sorts of stuff are gonna feel like they're like shifting around in your hamstrings when you are moving at this deep, extended range of motion. Whew. And as you do more of these, you might notice, oh, you can move a little bit smoother. Maybe you're moving a little bit faster. Maybe it feels not as bad, not as uncomfortable. And that is all really good. Those are good positive signs. Let's do a couple of more. And let's switch into doing some thoracic rotation. We're going to stay in basically the same position. Feet pretty close together. Bring that belly button down. Bend the left knee. Straighten your right leg. Take your left hand. Put it on that right outer calf. Come on into a rotation. Rotate your chest to the right. Stick your right arm up into the air. Rotate your head so your eyes can just barely see your fingers behind you. Flex those shoulder muscles. Pull those arm muscles together. Really try to bring that arm behind you and come on back down. Whew, that's half of a rep. Let's finish this off with the other side. Now the right knee is bent. The left leg is straight. Right hand is pushing against the outside of the left leg. Chest is rotating to the left. Head, arm, everything going up. And don't forget to breathe. You don't need to hold your breath. Come on back down. That is one rep. Let's do 5 of these. As you get more comfortable with this position and the rotation, I want you to enjoy the tiny little bit of warm up we do for the whole rest of the body. Everything else is basically focused on the legs. Your fingers, your hands, your shoulders, they're doing a little bit as you reach behind you. And of course, your spine is getting a lot of rotation in. The thoracic spine, which is the upper third of your spine, is designed to move a lot, move really, really, really well. And most of the time, we don't let it move really, really, really well. So take this quick moment to give yourself a couple of reps. And finally, don't forget, we want a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So try to bring that belly button down while you are at the very, very peak of this. Man, today is just a bad earbud day. Okay, that I believe is 5 reps of thoracic rotation with hamstring stretches. So let's move on into warm-up exercise number 3. But before we do that, feel free to grab a sip of whatever it is. The exercise that we were just doing, we got a question from Noah. What is this stretch called? I can't remember what it's called. I'm blanking so hard. It's very close to a triangle. Oh, sorry. The original thing that we started with, these are called elephant walks. And you can do them in a lot of different ways. One of the cool ways is you can go grab something, extend your hands, and keep on doing them like this. That's the foundation of that thing, and that's the main thing that we care about. But this rotation stuff is pretty close to a triangle as a yoga position. So if you Google triangle position yoga, it's pretty close. There's some other things that are kind of sort of close. If you are into more old school weight training, this position is also called a bent press. There's a lot of different sports that use some variation of this that's basically the same with slightly different tweaks with how much intensity you put into your arms, your back, or your hips. Lulu says, "Hi, sorry I'm late today." You're not late at all. You are here. And that is awesome. Brad's begonias thinks it looks juicy. I don't know what that's about, but cool. I think that's a compliment. Catherine, it's great, Ken. Thank you. Okay, awesome. I'm glad the volume is back. I can hear you from the back area. All right. So everything else was comments about the sound. I think we are good to continue. Whew. Where did we just get to? we got to finishing the elephant walk in that thoracic rotation. Let's get into some Cossack switches. We're trying to come down to one side. I usually recommend opening up your legs pretty wide when you do this. It's not really that important because you can adjust at any time, so feel free to figure out if that works better and let me know, because then we can save a second on the instructions. In this position, I want you to feel that Achilles tendon stretch, that calf stretch. I want you to feel a little bit of pressure in the front of your ankle. I want you to feel a little bit of pressure in your hip. Your feet can point anywhere from directly in front, like so, to slightly out, to kind of a lot out. As long as you are comfortable in those positions, that works for me. I recommend you train a variety of them. So if there's something that you're just barely able to do, go ahead and work on that. What I care about is you staying balanced and staying in control. Most of the time, that means putting your heel down and keeping your heel really low to the ground. And that's because when your heel is up, like so, there's a lot more wiggling that can happen. And that makes you really, 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 really tired. So try your best to keep your heel down and your toes down. And that will form a nice solid tripod in your feet. And one of the things you might have to do to adjust is bring your knee back so that it's straighter up and down. We go out of our way to get into this deeper knee position, but if you're going so deep that your heel comes up, come a little bit further back. Your quads are going to start firing really hard. If it gets too tiring, you can put your elbow down on it, or you can just take some good old-fashioned breaks. Whew. I put that in because I need to take a break. My quad was firing so hard just now. All right, we're here. We're chilling in this position for a little bit. And I've talked about it for so long. I think we've spent plenty of time chilling. On this side, heels down, toes up, knees up. This is called external leg rotation. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. Let's shift over to the other side and do the same thing we just did for this leg on this leg. Heel down, knee forward. Make sure the knee is in the same direction as your toes. If I rotate my leg over to this side so I'm facing you directly, my knees are going this way. My toes are pointing this way. So try to make sure that that is happening for you. I don't want your knee to go in like that or out like that. Keep it in the same line. Now I'm going to put this leg back and we're going to hang out here for a little bit. You can do this without support. You can do this with support. You can do this with support in the middle. Whew. As you sit down and get relaxed in this position, or relaxed, get more comfortable in this position. Again, this side, heel down, toes up, knees up. Whew. So, this is just the starting position of the Cossack switch. If you're tired already, me too. In the Cossack switch, we're going to shift from side to side. And there's lots of different ways to do that. That can make the stretch easier, harder. At this point, it's kind of a stretch because this leg is getting stretched. At the end position here, you're in pretty compacted motion or angles, and that part is a stretch. But everything in between, that's just strength training. So take this at a level that feels good, but it's just a little bit challenging for you. All right, you can put your hands down and just give yourself a lot of support. The further forward you lean, the more weight you put into your hands, the less weight is in your legs, and that makes your life easier. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can just do your fingertips. You can sort of bring your chest back a little bit more, so more of your center of gravity is towards your hips. And if you're leveled up past that too, you can bring your hands in. I don't know why I'm crossing them across my chest, but they're all the way in now, I guess. And then if you want to keep on going, you can try to stand up really straight. Maybe you'll need to stick your hands out in front of you to help counterbalance, but we can keep going. Whew. I hope you've been following along because I don't really want to do that many more of these. Let's aim to do 5 to 10 reps. Really, the result I want is I want you to feel like suddenly the movement has gotten smoother. You've gotten past that first stage where all your muscles are just waking up for the first time. And I want you to hang out a little bit at the end. If you're going to rest, try your best to rest in this kind of position. Don't just crumple up. Make use of your resting time. Get that hip and that leg into position. Put as much weight into your hands as you need to. No problems with that. Oh, all right. When you're feeling smooth, or you're just feeling it's time to quit, I'm done with these. Come on up, take a break, drink some water, shake out the legs. That was very tiring, and you have finished it. Whew, we're almost ready to move on into our hamstring stretch. I recommend you grab a cushion, grab a pillow. We're going to need it for protecting our knee to do the hamstring stretch. It's going to look like that. From the side, it looks like this. So go ahead, grab that, steal your dog's bed, or grab a flip-flop, an old sneaker that you don't care about. Go ahead and use that as a cushion. All right. YouTube is looking good. A whole bunch of people just joined on YouTube. Welcome back, everybody. If you don't know, we do 45 minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, to build a little community, and to make stretching a little bit more fun so that you make a whole bunch of progress to your side split goals. So I hope you'll hit follow. I hope you'll hit subscribe. I hope you keep coming back because that's what we do. We practice consistency 9 p.m. every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tyler says it's hard to go all the way down. It absolutely is. That's why it's so important to get all the way down, because it's really closely related to the side split, at least on the long extended side. And then on the other side, we're working on a whole bunch of hip mobility. Actually, it's just lower leg mobility because we're putting pressure into the ankles, we're putting pressure into the calves, putting pressure into the hips. We're getting this like really, I don't know, squished up position. And you might be wondering, what's that useful for? This is really hard to get into. I never get into a position like this. Well, it's a really good question. I like to think that being able to do stuff on the floor is really convenient. I like to think that I spend a lot of time on the floor, a lot of time looking at the floor when I'm doing pigeon, figure four pose, and if I'm already doing a lot of stuff on the floor, I like to be able to move around and control and do things on the floor. That's sort of why being able to squat down gives you control, and why I like being able to get into these sort of compacted positions where the ankle is flexing, the hips are scrunched up. It's because you get to do stuff like this and move really far. It's a little monkey-like. I don't know if most people need to be able to, no, nobody needs to be able to do that. But I think it makes your life a little bit more fun. If you got nieces, nephews, grandkids, kids, and you can suddenly jump across the whole entire living room in the second it takes for them to blink, they're going to start laughing. They're going to love you because they'll be like, what? I've never seen that before. That's crazy. And then everybody in the whole house is going to be maneuvering across the floor like that. So maybe you've created chaos for your siblings. What else is it good for? It's good for general movement. If you guys have been watching Physical 100 or Physical Asia, our parkour guy from Australia is doing some crazy movements and moving really well, jumping over things. If you like to do cool stuff like that, having really good hip mobility is really helpful. Anyways, where are we? We're doing a hamstring stretch. Let's grab that cushion and get into some stretches. We're going to stack up these hips, the shoulders, point everything forward, and start by bringing this leg that we're going to stretch out in front. I want you to almost pull the leg back into its socket so that you can get into a very compact hamstring stretch. A lot of people think that we want to get into something like this. This is great if you're working on the front split. We're not working on the front split. We're just working on the hamstring stretch. So tuck your leg back in and bring your belly button down. Your hamstrings are going to start tightening up. That's totally okay. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. I want you to inhale, take a big deep breath in, and then slowly relax and see if you can apply a little bit of pressure into your hamstrings while you relax. Ready? Let's go. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale some more. Do something in between. Then we're going to do another big inhale, another big exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Get deeper. Try to focus on bringing your belly button down when you're trying to get deeper into the stretch. Your upper back like I said, is designed to be very mobile. So if all you do is bring your head down, you're not really getting into much deeper of a stretch. And once you're as deep as you think you can get into for the moment, let's start at 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. I like to do some kind of mini pulses. I don't know why I like them. I think they just reduce some of the pressure and then apply some pressure and then reduce some pressure and then apply some pressure. You can mimic, you can do the same. Try not to be too jerky and explosive and have a really big movement because that puts a lot of pressure on the tendons and the muscles. But play around, experiment, see how you can get a little bit deeper. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on out of that hamstring stretch. Oh, if you are doing this right, it should be quite uncomfortable for most of the stretch. And then most of that pain, most of that discomfort, most of that weirdness is just going to go right away in a couple of seconds. And then we can move on to the other side. Go ahead, get into position. We're going to stick that leg out in front of us, tuck it into our hips, fold forward, bring the belly button down to the thigh, and let's do some big inhales and exhales. In, out, stretch. One more, in, out. And once your hamstrings are nice and tight, remember the focus is bringing the belly button down. You might want to contract your abs. You might want to contract these hip flexors in the front while you're doing it. Pull, 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 pull. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on, up out of that hamstring stretch. Come back into standing. Get rid of the cushion. You don't need it anymore. Shake out the legs. Move around a little bit. And let's get ready to move into the second stretch, the butterfly stretch. Queen RR on YouTube says audio is good. True. Yes, that was a good show. Oh yeah, yesterday. Yesterday was so funny. We have two different devices on two different cellular data plans, and my plan and my phone was connected to YouTube. The internet was so bad for the whole 45 minutes that we ran the live, or like 50 something minutes that we ran the live. I think YouTube knows that I had bad internet, so it sent 4 people to that live whenever it ended, whatever happened. Say it again. But it looked like the live was running super long, but the recording from YouTube showed that it was a 4-minute live, and I was like, wow, that was bad. So I think today the views on YouTube are also a little bit low because there's like some sort of momentum that follows through. After a really bad show, they take some time to build right back up, and I think the activity is a little bit slow on YouTube for that reason. We had somebody comment about it earlier, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. All right. Whew. Let's get into some more stretches. We just finished the hamstring stretch. The butterfly stretch is next. Yesterday, I didn't have a wall to do the butterfly stretch, so I just tried my best on the floor, and it was a pretty good stretch. But if you're a beginner, if you want to get the most out of your 30 seconds in this stretch, I recommend you get to a wall. I am so excited to have a wall behind me. Let's Put our hips, our shoulder, our head up against the wall. Take off your socks if you need to. If you have a way to get some grip on the floor when you do this, it helps because you can really keep your feet from sliding out in front of you. And if you can keep your feet from sliding out, you don't have to focus on pulling it in. All right, let's bring those feet in towards our groin, towards the center of our body. Your knees are up. We want to try our best to bring them down. Use your muscles, these outer thigh muscles, these glutes, contract them to help open and bring your knees to the ground. And go ahead and take a couple seconds to do that first. Okay. Open. Open. Now, once you're as far open as you can get with just your muscle power, take your hands, apply a little bit of pressure. If you're doing this right, you're going to feel the back of your head, your shoulders pushing into the wall behind you. And that is perfectly normal. That is exactly what you want to feel. The wall is helping you put all of your force into your legs instead of causing you to wobble around. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. Remember to flex those glutes. Open up those hips. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let the hands go first. Lift your legs up a little bit. Give them a little bit of movement, and you should be good. Come on back into standing. Jump around, shake out those legs real quick. Let's get into standing pancake. Do a little bit of hip circles if you need to, because that is a lot of where the stretch was happening in the butterfly. And take a sip of water. Need that as well. I'm gonna grab my coffee. All right. Here we go. Standing pancake. Looks basically like this. We're opening up our legs decently wide. It doesn't have to be crazy. The focus is folding that pelvis. You might hear, if you watch other fitness YouTube videos, about the hip hinge, folding forward. Basically, those are all the same things. Your pelvis is a bone that goes pretty much from like right here, the bottom. Your sits bone is the bottom of your pelvis, all the way up to the top of your hips. That is the top of your pelvis. What we're doing is folding it forward and pointing the tops of the hips that way, bottoms of the hips that way. Cool? Straight forward. Forward. From here, we're basically in position. This is the standing pancake. The goal of the stretch is to get even more folded. Fold. It is really hard. It only gets harder. And it's all about the pelvis. Everything is about the pelvis. I like to say focus on your belly button, and that is also about your pelvis. Your belly button is right at the top of your hips, more or less. The top of my hips are here. My belly button is right here. So if you focus on bringing the belly button down, it's actually the same as getting your hips to fold forward. All right? So all those words basically mean the same exact thing. And hopefully that helps you out in whatever else you do, whatever other videos that you end up watching. Cool? From here, I want you to stick the bottoms of your butts, those sits bones, and point them as far back as possible. Maybe even try to imagine pointing them high up into the air. You might not be able to do it, but I want you to imagine that that's your goal. If your bottoms of your butts are pointing up, the tops of that pelvis, your belly button area, is going to go really low towards the ground. And that is what we want. All right. If you want to make this stretch more difficult, extend your arms in front of you. That'll increase the leverage. If you want to make it even harder, you can hold something like a big old bottle of water in front of you. And that's it. That's the whole stretch. Keep on trying to bring the belly button down. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Come back into standing. Put your hands down. Pull your legs in. Wobble around as you struggle back into standing. Take some nice big deep breaths. Let's talk about that for a second. When we open up our legs, the adductors, ADDUCTOR, adductors, are working real hard and getting real mad at you for trying to bring your legs out like that. That is one part of the difficulty. But the main thing that's really painful and uncomfortable is that hamstring stretch. You might be feeling it sort of in the glute-ish area because your hamstrings pull right into the hip. They pull into the bottom of the sits bone, essentially. And you might feel a tingly come right up through your butt. That is all normal. And that is hard. And it's so hard on the hamstrings. We do so much to prepare them. We do the elephant walks in the beginning to sort of loosen them up, get them flowing. We do the hamstring stretch to pre-stretch them so that when you get into the standing pancake, you can get into a deeper position. And when you're in a deeper position, it's much easier to let gravity pull you down. All right? If you're like really stiff and you're up here, it's going to be much harder for gravity to pull you down. But if we pre-stretch, we're a little bit looser, the more horizontal your upper body can get, the more pressure you're going to feel from the pull of gravity. The longer you extend, the more pressure you'll feel from gravity. There's like some basic physics principles in there. We don't have to go that deep. Just know if your upper body is horizontal, it'll feel more intense. And to keep your body horizontal, you can sort of stick your butt back and still keep that upper body horizontal. That's a quick trick. I don't think I talk about it enough, but if you're ever wondering why my hips are so far back, it's because I'm trying to keep my upper body horizontal. Okay, come on out of that position. Shake out those legs. Take a sip of water. I have rambled at you, so you probably have already drunk some water. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I don't think we have anything to respond to in the chat at the moment, but there are a bunch of people in. If you have no idea what we're doing, we do 30, 45, realistically much closer to 60 minutes of live side splits stretching every single day to practice consistency, build community, and make stretching a little bit more fun, make the suffering a little less painful so that you can get more stretching done, more mobility work done, work your hips a little bit better, and hopefully, eventually, get to some side splits. I am not there. I need to practice consistently, so this is as much for you as it is for me. Mostly, it started as just a me thing. So yeah, if that sounds cool, you want to hang around, the vibes are good, hit follow, hit subscribe, get notified. We do this every single day to train and get better at some side splits. Where am I going with this? It is time to move on to our fourth stretch. I don't think I drank any of the coffee. But now I finished it, so I can get rid of that cup. Now I have no distractions. The fourth stretch is the pigeon or the figure four. Yesterday in the park we did pigeon, I believe, so let's do some figure four. We do this on our backs. If you have a preferred position, you know exactly what we're doing. Go do whatever you want. You don't have to follow this so precisely. But if you've never done this before, let's talk about figure four. We're going to take the leg, we're going to stretch, we're going to bring it across to the other knee, and we are going to reach our arms in and just pull. Pull the knee towards your chest from the side. Hold on, let me swing around. From the side is going to look like this. Your knee is coming up towards your chest, and you should feel the stretch out here in the side of your hip. It might even feel like the side of your glute right here where my hands are. Cool? Keep on pulling on that leg, and that's it. That's pretty much everything. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Don't relax too much. I know you're laying down on the ground after a long workout, but you gotta keep pulling. Pull, 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 pull. 20, 19, 18, 17. If you're feeling a little bit of pressure in your knees, a little uncomfortable, you can wrap your arm around or wrap your palm around and pull on the knee to give your knee a little bit of support. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. That is one side. We're almost done. This is the last stretch before the side splits. We're just getting these muscles over here ready for the pressure to come. And we will be in side splits right after that. Let's go over to the other side. Again, if you are looking at your own legs, it looks like this. Crossing the leg over, putting the ankle just below the knee. This is the figure 4 stretch, and I realized I didn't explain this before, but it looks like an upside down 4 now that I'm on the ground, right? If I was standing, it'd look like an upside right 4. Reach your arms through, pull on that knee, pull it in, and give your other knee a little bit of support. If you have knee discomfort, go ahead, and 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. You might find that one side is way more flexible than the other. That's totally normal. In the future, start with that side. Give it maybe an extra couple seconds, a little bit of extra attention. See if slowly over time we can even it out. But it will be slow, but it'll take consistency, which is why we're here every single day. So you can come back and focus on that with us. I completely forgot to count. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on up. Let that hip go. If you're laying on your back, you can try keeping your knees bent and just rotating so your knees flop to either side. It gives your low back a little bit of a stretch. If you're already here, you might as well take advantage of the fact they're lying on the ground and in a sweaty mess on the floor and get a little bit of extra benefit, right? Ooh, okay. Once you have done that, as long as you have not felt any pain in your low back, we are good to go and wrap up with some side splits. I say wrap up with side splits, but really, I mean, the fun is just beginning. You don't need any tools, you don't need anything. But if you want to feel a little bit safer, you want to feel a little bit secure, you want to feel like you're going to crush these side splits, feel free to grab anything that you think might need for a little bit of support. Maybe we can reintroduce that cushion we used for the hamstring stretch, just have it in front. Maybe you feel like you're going to slap your face into the ground. Go ahead and have the cushion ready in case you do. Don't try to do that, but you know, if somehow it happens, then it happens and you got a cushion for it, right? Cool. Let's talk safety and our best friend, the wall. If we're in a deep side split position and you start falling forward, it's more or less straightforward to catch yourself. You throw your arms out in front and you're like, oh, whew, okay, that's fine. All right. Scary, dangerous. But if you start falling backwards, it is much scarier because most people are not going to be able to reach behind them and catch themselves in any meaningful way. So go, oh. And that is where having a nice solid wall right behind you is super helpful. I got into that a little aggressively. I almost forgot about the doorknob. Make sure there's nothing sticking out of your wall. If you've got pictures and frames and things, try to make sure you find something where they're not directly behind you. If you're really tall, maybe that's going to be a little bit difficult. I don't have that problem, but yeah, make sure the wall that you're about to smash your back into is totally safe and comfortable. I mean, as comfortable as randomly having a wall there can be. Is there to help keep you safe. And to make sure that it does keep you safe, I recommend you stand about 1 footstep in front of it. It's about 8 to 12 inches for most people. I think if you have really big feet, your hips and these bones in the legs will also be long, so you can afford to be slightly more in front. If you have smaller feet, you tend to be smaller, so you can be a little bit closer to the wall. Cool? All right. Let's open up those legs. We're actually into side split now. That was all the safety spiel. Let's open up those hips as wide as you can before it becomes uncomfortable. Now that we've warmed up, maybe you'll find that you can get really deep, especially compared to your standing pancake just a couple of seconds ago. From here, put your hands down, fold at the hips, and get into this position and try to almost do a couple of half push-ups. We're not doing this to do push-ups. We're doing this to make sure that some of our body weight is shifted forward into our hands. With that body weight out of our hands, with that body weight into our hands, it's out of our legs. And that makes it easier to externally rotate them. External rotation is basically this. We are putting our heels down, our toes up, and our knees up into the air. You might want to put on some sneakers or some flip-flops or have a yoga mat or something to give your heels a little bit of padding. You don't need it, but if the bottom of your heels are like this and you're sort of at a very, very steep angle, it's going to have a little bit more nerves. It's going to feel a bit more painful. As you get to the other side, the back side, I think you have a few less pain receptors in there, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable. And it just really depends on where you're putting position, where you're putting pressure into that heel. From here, we're basically in the side split stretch. If you can't get any further, this is a perfect place to focus all your energy. If you can and want to try to get further, you can walk your hands back towards your hips a little bit and put some of that weight back into your legs, and your legs are going to feel that stretch a little bit more intensely. Whew. And finally, try to do a little wiggle from side to side, see if that will break that last little bit of friction. Hold on your feet, your heels back, and with that, we're ready to go. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Remember to breathe, don't hold your breath. 19, 18, 17. If any position gets a little too intense, you can always shift your hips forward, put your weight back onto your hands. If that gets tiring, you can shift your weight back, put most of that weight into your legs again. Everything in between is some version of a straddle stretch, a pancake, a side split. So for most people, all three are going to be good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, crawl your hands forward, pull the knees in. I know we spent a bunch of time in that position for the first one because I talk so much. I'm sorry. Don't worry, for round 2 and round 3, it'll be much more concise because I will explain in way less detail. Take some nice big deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Take a big step forward. Come on up into standing. And shake it out. What we just did was put a whole bunch of tension into our leg. Our whole body was contracting, going, stop it. What are you trying to do with your legs? This is not cool. What we're trying to do now is to undo all of that tension. And the easiest way is to make sure the legs are loose and floppy and wiggly. And so I want you to shake. I want you to wiggle. I want you to flop around. If you're wondering why I'm doing such a ridiculous thing, this is one of your earlier watches of the live stream, is because when your muscles are really tense, you tend to move very mechanically and you get stiff. If you look stiff, you look like a robot. When we do the opposite, when we flop around like this, it looks like my leg is a spring. I don't know. Maybe, oh, that's kind of cool. Anyways, that's what we want. We want the leg to be loose. We want it to be relaxed so that when you get into the second, the third round of the side splits, they're not super tense and fighting against you immediately. You got a couple of seconds before you get into that super tense position the second time. And just trust me, it works. When we get into the second one, you'll see, and then you'll become a believer. We got a bunch of comments coming in on YouTube. I'm gonna take a quick look. Ooh, 223DMR7, welcome back. He says, yeah, I have some of those knee pads. They work awesome. I wear nothing but Hoka shoes. They are the most comfy for me. Yeah, those are good advice. If you have some knee discomfort or you spend some time on your knees, because of work, crawling around doing renovation, repairs, plumbing, attic, basement stuff, then take those tools and make use of it. And Hokas, a lot of running shoes these days have a ton of padding. It's like 3 inches of padding. That can be good, that can be bad. If the foam on the bottom is super squishy, it kind of makes it hard for your foot to stay stable. So try to balance your stretching options, right? What you wear with your shoes in regular life, if it's comfortable, if it works well for you, whatever. But when you're doing the stretches, we're already in sort of a difficult position. It's hard to control. If there's a lot of flexing and folding as soon as you adjust your ankle angle, then it's going to be a little bit harder to control the side split position. So figure out where the balance is for you. Just enough foam that your heel feels protected, but not so much foam that anytime you slightly lean, it squishes at a different angle, and then you're spending all this time trying to balance. All right. So that's my thoughts on foam. Let's see. We didn't do some quick joint checks yet. I've already basically done a whole bunch of stuff, so I know my joints are fine, but let's do them together. We're gonna do some quick hip circles. We're gonna do some high knees. This is just to confirm that everything is feeling and working fine. You don't have to do very many of these. You don't have to put too much pressure into these. We're gonna do a mini squat. Put some pressure into the knees, put some pressure into the ankles, come up onto those toes, do some calf raises. Make sure all those joints are feeling okay, and we're ready for round 2 of side splits. Whew. Let's get into position. Take that 1 to 2 steps, 1-ish step in front of the wall. Open up those legs, nice and wide. Fold forward at the hips, put your hand down, like you're gonna do a mini push-up. Then use that to externally rotate your legs, which means your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are up. Again, heels down, toes up, knees up. You might notice you can actually just casually get into a deeper side split position right now. And that's because we were able to relax in between. Walk your hands back towards your hips to put more weight into those leg muscles. And then do a wiggle from side to side. Here we are. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember to breathe. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward, pull your legs in. See, that round was much shorter than the previous one. Might have been a lot easier to get out of the stretch this time around. Part of it is because we did all of that loosening and relaxing. Part of it is we didn't spend nearly as much time because I just didn't talk so much. But I hope you're in this kneeling position. You're feeling a little bit better than the previous one. Let's come back into standing and shake it all out. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And as your legs start to get more relaxed, you can be more vigorous with the movement. Start nice and slow, calm and gentle. And then as you get more loose, you can always pick up the intensity. Cool? I'm focusing mostly on the legs right now because that is what is feeling most of that tension. But you can add this into your arms. You can add this into basically any part of your body. If you're doing other workouts, you just did a couple of sets of push-ups. You know that feeling where your triceps are really tense, your chest, your pecs are really tense. You can do this as well to help loosen up those triceps, and you might be able to do a couple extra reps on that next set that'll help you relax and recover a little tiny bit faster. That is something you're interested in, run the test. Do a couple. Take notes on today. Next time you do that workout, see if you get a little bit more relaxation in between your reps. Okay, we've shaken out the hips. We've moved around. They're feeling loose. They're feeling good again. Let's keep going. and do round 3. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to do the hip circles first. Hip circles. And then we'll do round 3. High knees. Do some mini squats. Put the pressure on the knees, put the pressure on the ankles, come up onto some toes, get those feet working, and work that calf balance, calf raise balance. Once you have done all those things, you're probably pretty good. So we're ready to move on into round 3 of the side splits. I feel like I've been really far away from the phone today, not reading any comments. Yes, those little black knee pads work awesome for my heels. That is exactly what I was thinking when you told me about the knee pads. I do a lot of hamstring stretching, trying to get those unlocked. If you are really struggling with hamstrings, then keep in mind that they're stretching out the muscles and there's also strengthening the opposite muscles, right? We do a lot of stretching on this live show, but one of the other things that you can get really good at is flexing the hip flexor muscles that lift the leg in the first place, right? For most people, this tends to be pretty weak because we don't do very much lifting. We just kind of sit here and hang out like this. So they're tight and then they're weak. Tightness is just the body getting used to this position, so it's just hanging out in this position. But hanging out is not the same as being strong in that position. So a lot of the time, you might have tight hip flexors from the front, but they'll also be weak. But if you get really strong hip flexors, it'll help to forcefully cancel out some of this hamstring tension. All right, everything kind of has, I mean, at least compared to the front and back of the body, there's a counter for a lot of the movements that we do, especially at the hips. So experiment and focus on those if you're really, really, really trying desperately to work on those hamstrings. Okay, also, same thing. We talked about strengthening the hip flexor, we talked about stretching the hip flexor, same thing for the hamstrings. You can strengthen the hamstrings, and the stronger they are, the more likely they are to relax and let you do crazy things like tuck forward. We can talk about hamstring exercises later. Let's continue and finish up round 3 of our side splits while we are still warm. Go ahead and stand 1 step in front of that wall so that our best friend, the wall of safety, is there to keep us safe. Open up those legs nice and wide. Fold at the hips, put your hands down, do that mini push-up, put that weight into your hands, externally rotate the legs so that your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are up, and open up and see if you can drop a little bit deeper into that side split stretch. Walk your hands back towards your hips. Do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. Try your best to keep your lower back straight and fold forward a little bit. This is going to feel a lot like our standing pancake. And that's it. We're in position. Let's go. Final 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. If you haven't yet found a reason to use your cushion, maybe, you can experiment with that while you try to take your mind off the stretch. But maybe, realistically, we don't want to get distracted. We're almost done. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Walk your hands forward, pull your knees in, come back into that kneeling position, rest for a second, shake out your hips. If you have water, super accessible, go ahead and take a sip. We'll slowly come back into standing. That was our third and final side split for the day. So we're going to do one final round of loosening and checking the joints, and then we'll be all wrapped up. So take this last round of flopping, pretty gentle to start. Just start with maybe just your knees, flop your leg out, add in some movement at the hip. This might be more of a ankle rotation, ankle circles, but you can move your whole leg at the same time, and it looks really smooth actually. Same thing on the other side. Just let that movement help loosen up your legs. as you get more loose, you can flop a little bit more aggressively. You can wiggle a little bit more aggressively. We've called these noodles. You sort of want them to look like ramen noodles, a little springy. And once you have loosened up those hips, I want you to add a couple of dance moves. I want you to do some stanky leg on both sides. I want you to bring your knees in and out. And whatever, I can't remember how this goes, but just make sure your hip joints are moving. If you don't like those dance moves, you're not confident in your dance, that's okay. We can go right back into hip cars. These are also exactly what we're focused on, hip mobility. Okay. Once your legs are feeling good, they're feeling normal, you feel confident, you're going to nail whatever else you're going to do after this live. Then we're going to do our final round of hip checks, ankle checks, joint checks to make sure that that is true. We're going to do some hip circles. We're going to do some high knees, just real quick. Pop into that mini squat, put a little pressure on your ankles, on your knees, come up onto those toes, work on those calf raises just a little bit. And with that, if everything is feeling pain-free, we are done. And I'm going to come over, check the chat, so we can wrap up for today. I need to swipe some animations on TikTok real quick, because it is asking me if I'm a robot. There we go. Puzzle confirmed. 223DMR7 says, okay, cool, I learned something new. Awesome. I hope I said something smart and I didn't misdirect you, but I don't think I did. Let's see. Let's scroll through the chat. I'm going to lift this camera real quick so I don't have to stare so deep onto the ground. Gayeta on TikTok says, Ken, my hamstrings feel sore following sessions. Is this normal? It's not normal. We do a lot of stretching, and you have been here pretty much every single day for a while. And it is quite possible that you just need some time for your hamstrings to recover, because what we did was a lot for you as an individual. In general, if the live workout is the only thing that you're doing and you're feeling sore after the stretching, you're stretching probably pretty hard for your physical tolerance. So you can take down that intensity, try to be a little gentler to yourself. If you want to keep doing the lives and you want to stay sort of consistent, you can choose to dial down the intensity. And that might mean you don't fold forward as hard when we do the hamstring stretch. I think most of the elephant walk should be okay for you to do relatively intensely, just 80% as intense as you have been doing it so far. The standing pancake is going to be a little bit harder to control that intensity, but if you were sticking your butt back, if you were extending your arms, try a couple of days where you're tucked in and you're not feeling as much pressure on the hamstrings. If that hamstring soreness just lasts half an hour, lasts an hour after the workout, and then you forget about it and it just goes away, then there's probably nothing to worry about. If you're feeling the hamstring soreness for several days in a row, then you should definitely tone down the intensity if you're going to keep doing the lives every day, or take a day off, maybe 2 days. Just don't take so long that you forget that you used to like to do side splits, because it can be really hard to come back. Kat says, when do you normally do lives? The lives are 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific every day. I have not missed one in a while, a couple months. And yeah, that's when the lives are. So they started an hour and 8 minutes ago. What else we got? Jade with some crying smiley faces. I hope I said something funny. Jade says, hi, Ken. Hello. I'm scrolling way far back, trying to see stuff that I missed, because I spent a lot of time back there today and not so much at the phone. But somehow we still ran 60-something minutes. I tried my best. Gayeta says, I get the same issue. I just have to set a reminder on my phone. Ooh, okay. Where are we at? What is this thing that I'm... Sunshine Wellness says, this is great, Ken, and consistent timing is much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, okay. There we go. I found the source. Moreau13 says, I followed days ago, but didn't get any alert that he started. That, unfortunately, I don't think I can do anything about, and that might be something in your settings. It's also something that TikTok does. It doesn't send an alert every single time that I go live on TikTok to every single person in the audience. So that is a good reminder that perhaps that I need to tell people to set a reminder on their phones or in their calendars, because I plan to be here pretty much every day, and you can count on that. I think if you check my YouTube history, I have done a live every day for close to 3 months. I think I will miss at least one day at some point because I'll be traveling. But I'll let you know like a week or two in advance every single day prior to that happening. Maybe if you schedule the live, it sends something. Oh, I can check up on how TikTok does live scheduling. YouTube does live scheduling, and that makes it a little bit easier. I think on YouTube, there's a specific button that you can click to get the little notification from whatever I do. But I do post other stuff. So if you usually have your notifications turned off because you don't want all the pings of all the creators sending you stuff, then you might be able to turn on something just specifically for the live notifications. But if that is not what you're into and you have a calendar, you have an alarm that you prefer, go ahead and do that. I will try and figure out if there is a scheduling function on TikTok and make that built in to the account so it's easier to click into. Okay. Thank you, Travel with Roxy, for the suggestion. Jade says, Stanky leg was funny. Good. Good. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep the vibes good. We're trying to keep them fun. We're trying to make hard things a little bit easier. We're trying to make it so that you want to keep coming back and work on those side splits, work on that hip mobility. Stanky leg is one of the things that helps me make it a little bit more entertaining. I think that is more or less all of the recent comments on the chat. So I'm going to scroll up way high to see if there's anything else I want to address. Then we will log off. Oh, Moreau13 asked, what is your YouTube channel? I keep talking about it, but what is it? It is the same exact username. It's at Splitsontheside. I know it's a lot of letters, and so it's hard to read sometimes, but it's Splits on the side. Cool. And I am very lucky in that both Instagram, or actually not both, all three, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have the same exact username. So it's easy to find me on all the platforms that I partake on. If there is a new platform, please don't go steal my username and try to sell it back to me. Okay, let's see. I think that's everything. Cool. I'm gonna scroll around on YouTube real quick just to see if there's anything else. 223DMR7. Oh wow, you started messaging super early. Good evening, good evening. Taking it easy tonight. The heel is already hurting, so I need cushion. Absolutely. I forget about this occasionally, and I guess that's my bad. When I first started doing the side split stretches, there was probably a good like 2 month period where I was doing just 30 seconds of that side split stretch that we do. Now we do 3 rounds of 30 seconds. So we've tripled up the time. And for a while, I was using some combination of flip-flops. I was using sneakers. I was using foam, like exercise mat squares. You know, they're like 1 foot by 1 foot squares and they look like puzzle pieces. I kept them separated on purpose so that each foot can slide off to the side. And that was super helpful to give my heels a little bit of padding for the side splits. If you have a yoga mat that you are going to use, I recommend you keep the yoga mat separate. And that's because when you're sliding out, you're putting a lot of pressure on either end of the yoga mat. So I have accidentally torn up somebody's foam mat with my heels because there was so much friction. I just ripped a front soft layer off the top. I don't think that will happen if it's a general regular yoga mat, but you do put a lot of pressure pushing off from side to side, and you put a lot of that weight onto this little tiny square of your heel. So I recommend you use something that is separated, two different pieces, right? That could be I don't know, hotel slippers with some extra foam. Just a little bit of something. All right. I think Galleta says, okay, good night, Ken. Good night, Galleta. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Keep coming back. I hope to see you again soon. Ramo650 says something really nice. Congratulations, brother, for coming out. We are proud of you. Oh, I see. That was a totally mean thing to say. I thought we were talking about going out to the park. All right. In that case, we're all wrapped up. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the exercises. I hope you feel really proud that you got a great workout in on this Sunday afternoon. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Cool? Thanks for staying on. Thanks for stretching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.